Hello, my name is Ocie III. I was born and raised in Madison, Wisconsin, and in upstate New York as well with my father. If we're going to start out, we'll start out back in Madison, Wisconsin. I lived there with my 5 brothers and sisters in a 3-bedroom apartment, 5 of us in 2 of the bedrooms, my mother in the other bedroom. I used to also spend a lot of time in upstate New York with my father in the summers and during the school year sometimes. And around the age of 8 was when I first had my taste of business, my first experience. My father was an importer of African goods, and at that time we used to go to conventions, and he would set up the booth, and at one of the conventions he realized he forgot something at the store, something very important. So it was either shut down the entire booth or leave his son at 8 years old to run the booth, and that's what he had to do. So at the 8 years old, I did my first credit card scan. I negotiated with people. I went down to the same price I remember my father going down to, and after that point I realized this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. I want to own my own business. I want to be my own boss. And from there I kept that as my goal, and I fell in love with cars, and at the age of 14 I bought my first car. I bought and sold that within 3 months. By the time I was 18, I had my own small car shop where I was customizing cars, reupholstering them, painting them, doing everything. That's why I bought my first motorcycle for myself at that time, and I was just enjoying being an entrepreneur, not realizing really how creative I was yet. After 18 and having the car shop, I decided I needed a change. I moved from Madison, I went to LA. In LA, I lived there, and I just enjoyed life. Instead of my whole life, I was always worried about my businesses. So for 1 year, I just enjoyed California. Went to the beach every day, and then after a while, I just felt like I needed to do something again. So I started looking at cars, and then one day my brother sent me a package, and inside it had a Blazer. That Blazer, when I wore it outside, so many people stopped me that I just knew right away, this is what I had to do. This is the next business I have to make. It was like smacking me in the face. 5-10 people a day telling me, where is that jacket? Who made that? From a 60-year-old woman to a 5-year-old boy saying, that's cool, look at that, Dad, I like that jacket. And I said, I have to do this. So 3 months after getting that Blazer, I moved to New York City, and I decided to start my company. At that time, I thought that I would do more of the business side and my brother would be more of the creative end. And then after a few months, I realized that I was more creative than I ever knew, and that I run. When I have an idea, I run. Where a lot of people, you know, they have an idea and they walk and they take their time, I have an idea, I go full speed. If I trip, I get up and I keep running again. So I started working at a restaurant in Soho, right in the middle of the shopping area with all the international vibe around. It was great. Meeting great people everywhere around the world. At that time, at the restaurant where I worked, I was one of 2 Americans out of 35 people. It was incredible. It was a new experience, a new life, just enjoying the city. Well, not quite enjoying the city because I was working 80 hours a week, so can't quite enjoy it at that time. I was sleeping on my brother's futon for 3 years. I wasn't eating anything other than the food at the restaurant. I even sometimes when I would see a beautiful girl, I would say to myself, okay, are we going to take her out tonight, or am I going to make 2 jackets tomorrow? And sometimes I would have to choose the 2 jackets. And that's what it takes, you know, I had to build, I had to sacrifice. So after about 9 months of doing it, this is one of the pieces from my first collection. And you know, we did this, we shot this in Essence magazine, working with different people, and you know, that was great. Only 9 months in, no fashion school, no background of that sort, and just doing it hands-on, just going out and just figuring everything out that I could. From that, I got connected to people doing shoots, a fashion show in the British Virgin Islands. And that was one of the best experiences ever for me. 10 months after starting in New York and even having an idea to have a fashion company, I'm in the British Virgin Islands doing a fashion show with other designers from Baby Fat to Cesar Galindo to Cortomomulu. That just opened up the entire world for me. And it was a great experience being able to do my fashion show outside of New York, to be able to learn some of the ins and outs of the industry without having to be in front of the light of New York and the critiques of New York. I also had a motorcycle, and when riding the motorcycle I realized there was nothing cool that was also protective. And so this brings us to OC3, my main company, the next American brand. As you can see in the inside, there's not really much damages, but on the outside, this jacket went through 100 miles per hour for 3 minutes. We tied it up to the back of a car, made a 100-pound top torso dummy, and threw it out the back at 60 miles per hour and dragged it for 1 minute, 3 times. So this is a total of 3 minutes from 60 to 100 miles per hour. At the end of the day, you're gonna be fine. So that brings us to what the new company is, the big company, the next big American fashion brand. That's OC3. It's protective sportswear. It's where we're going to take regular fashionable clothing, jeans, pants, jackets, blazers, and incorporate armor into it. But not just any kind of armor. You're probably used to different type of armors like this, foam armors that are very stiff and rigid, things that are uncomfortable. This is what you don't want to wear. This is why you see people riding motorcycles with t-shirts and riding bicycles with t-shirts. So what we'll be using is the brand new state-of-the-art Smart Molecule armor, which is a soft molecule, but under impact, the molecules lock together and harden. So as you see, it's very soft and pliable, but on impact, it hardens. So this is what will make my company the next great fashion brand. This is going to start an entire new market inside of the fashion industry. Like I said, it's going to be called protective sportswear. So this will have everything for women, children, men, and I'll show you some of the ways that we'll implement that. This actually, the jacket I have on today, would be one of my signature pieces. A very nice, modern, tailored blazer with the full armor in it. Inside, in the elbows, the shoulders, and in the elbows, and in the back, we have full armor. For any time when you're riding a motorcycle, a bicycle, a skateboard, or even you're just walking down the street, you never know, you get hit by a car or you get jumped, you never know. The outside material is a flame-resistant, water-resistant, and wind-resistant material, with the inside a ripstop lining. So the basic idea of the company is fashion meets function, where we're bringing these two aspects together that you usually see on two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'll explain to you like the slogan of the company. It goes back to the beginning of man. Man first made clothing to protect himself, and the second reason was to adorn himself. And this is what we're doing for the 21st century. Things that will protect you from fire. We'll be working with new innovative materials that are radioactive resistant, and just bringing new innovative materials and technologies into our garments to bring us into the 21st century. And one of the major ways we'll do that is by incorporating it into kids' clothing. So as you can see, in the elbow or in the knees, there's the soft material, but under impact, as we said before, hardens. So me having 12 nieces and nephews, it just hit me one day. What do my nieces and nephews do? They fall. That's what all kids do. They fall. So what better thing to help them than protective clothing? From the elbows to the knees. We'll also have ones in the back by their tailbone when they fall. So inside of all these garments, there are little pockets with the armor inside. As well as this, and it can be incorporated into many different ways. We'll have them also have them inside of the soles. We'll have soles for the bottom of the shoes. We'll have it for dancers and for theater, people in the movie industry, tights and that they can wear underneath their clothing, so that when they're in action movies and the stuntmen will not get hurt. So it's a very flexible and pliable material, but then all of these have pockets inside that the armor will go inside of. Also, it adds a very interesting thought to me of how it might be able to help even kind of extend your life, because if you don't break or bruise or break your leg when you're a child, it helps you have a healthier and more active lifestyle in the future. So it's a very kind of life-changing and people-changing product, because it's totally going to revolutionize the garment industry. My struggles that I've had, so like I said, I worked for 80, 100 hours a week. I would be working a daytime shift from 11 o'clock down to 5 o'clock, and I would have to run over to the factory to to go pick up a jacket and then find out that there was something wrong with the inside trimming. And since I don't do the sewing myself, I have to rely on the factory, and I have to figure out and learn everything from the factory since I didn't go to school. So it was a very hectic time, times when I would run from my lunch break, run to the factory and come back to work within the hour and go back to work for another 8 hours. So once again, just using innovative materials, a very, very light ripstop lining, so it's a rip-proof jacket. You don't have to worry about that. And so yeah, basically, let me see, my best and worst dressed 11. I would have to put, let me see, Kanye, he's up there. You know, I like how he knows how to dress. Lady Gaga, she's up there. And worst dressed, I would have to say probably is, damn it. I almost don't want to badmouth anybody out there, so I don't know. The rest of them, you know, they're not doing too bad, so we'll just put them all in the rest with that category out there. So we'll just leave that part at that. If I had the unlimited amount of money, which, you know, we kind of will have once the company grows, it's about just expanding the company and expanding it and making a very social company. It's about making a change. It's about being under the Fairly Made label, where everyone in the process of the production gets a fair price for their work. This is a very important thing to us and to OC3. So that's me, you know, it's OC3. We're the next great fashion company, the next big American brand. Not even the next big American brand, we are the next big American company. This is my goal, this has been my goal since I'm young, and we're living it. OC3.